Well, good evening and welcome to the LBJ Grasslands outside of Decatur, Texas. We are at a campground adjacent to Cottonwood Lake. Little Cottonwood Lake is just across the road in front of me. The direct distributor for this combo headlamp and neck light contacted me, wanted to send me an evaluation unit, asked for a field test. Well, you know the old saying, be careful what you ask for, you may get it. And so here we are. Well, what do we have? This style of lighting is not new. I think a couple years ago, I did a field test of the Light Bar Pro. These Cobb LEDs are well known for producing a very smooth, even beam. You don't get much downrange, but field of view is absolutely fantastic. Now, this particular model, everything is self-contained, including the battery. That means that while the battery is rechargeable, it cannot be hot swapped. You also have some secondary lighting here. We'll look at that later tonight. The big question is probably, okay, how far downrange can you see with a light like this? And if it's an indoor application, practically every light looks good in a dark room indoors. So power goes out around the house, a dark spot in the garage, maybe your attic light goes out and you want to go change that. Any type of indoor application, this type of lighting works reasonably well. We're at a campground tonight, so you're camping inside the tent, yeah, you're probably good to go. The real question is, you get outside the tent, what is the edge of the envelope? And that is the question that I hope to answer tonight. But before that, let's talk very briefly about fit. As I mentioned before, you get two of these lights, one slightly smaller than the other. Of course, you put it in your head, and that's what maintains pressure against your head to keep it from slipping. That, and you have these somewhat soft, textured areas right here. Now, my hat size is in between 7 1/8 and 7 1/4. I found that the smaller one actually fit better. The other thing you may want to think about, especially here we are in the middle of summer in Texas, you're sweating. This is textured, so this will slip a little bit when you sweat, and you'll have to move it up and down since it's textured. That may cause some irritation. I don't know, it's just something for you to think about. I had the best results in my preliminary testing wearing this with some sort of very light head cover. In fact, I'm wearing a buff right now. I did about 30 minutes of pre-test before I filmed that first segment, and with the buff on, it works just fine. The UI is pretty simple. Power switch here, it's just straight clicks. First click, you've got high white. Click again. High white plus red. Click again. Low white plus red. Click again. Strobe. One more time. This is the reading lights. If this is hanging off your neck, this could be possibly used for reading. One more time. Off. You actually get a little bit of a glow in the dark effect there. That's it. That's your cycle. And you click to go through the cycle. There's no direct to any mode. There's no red only. There's no red beacon. What you just saw is what you get. So I'm starting with the reading light. Let me bring it out here. There we go. This is more than enough for reading. You can get just a little bit of additional awareness of what's around you. I've also noticed just in the process of manipulating the light, it's very easy for that charging port cover to come off. So just something for you to think about. This is low red. This is more than enough for inside a tent. If you had to get outside the tent and walk to the vehicle, it would be adequate. I'd probably want a little bit more, but this would be just adequate. This is the high white. This is the absolute peak output from the light. I'm also going to let this run as an impromptu burn down test. I read one of the reviews on Amazon that said it burned down pretty substantially after a couple of minutes. So let's let this go at least 2 or 3 minutes. Really got to watch my footing here. I can't quite watch what I'm filming. Almost tripping on a rock. Got a pretty cool spider and spider's web here. Okay, well, we're definitely over 2 minutes and just moving back into this area here. Seems to be putting out about the same illumination, so at least for a couple minutes sustained use, it doesn't seem to have any appreciable step down. And now we're over 3 minutes, so I think I'm going to go ahead and shut this test down. So just for comparison purposes, this is a 400 lumen flood, a much warmer light, but this is from my search and rescue headlamp, looking out over the same area. This is just to give you a point of comparison. So my basic feeling remains unchanged. You take a light out, you put it under realistic circumstances, you find out what the edge of the envelope is, and then that allows people to make well-informed decisions. What I really don't know about is how well does this light hold up under repeated use over an extended time frame. That's another set of tests. I don't personally have any use case for it. I don't know if I'll get around to that testing, but at least from a standpoint of basic capability, you saw what it can do in an outdoor environment, and I believe outdoor environments are always the most challenging. Everything looks good. Even a candle looks pretty decent in an indoor environment in a perfectly dark room. So take that for whatever you will. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down for tonight. I'll be back at it tomorrow at another location. Got a really long backlog of reviews to take care of. And on that subject, as always, until that next review, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.